Okay, judges, I'm going to ask you to turn your attention to the screen as we play the team's video.
Hello and welcome. We are Enactus Mount Allison, and we are here to present to you three of our projects: Textbook Osmosis, Project Greenlight, and Envirute.
Starting with textbook osmosis. A recent study states that in Canada, 580,000 tons of books go into landfills annually. They commonly don't get recycled since to do so requires the hardcover of the textbooks to first be manually removed. This in turn creates more labor work, which increases the total price of the recycling process. We are also aware that the average post-secondary student in Canada spends about $500 to $1,000 for textbooks and course materials each semester. According to Statistics Canada, the average university student debt with a bachelor's degree is $28,000. This research also shows that the textbooks contribute to about 14% to 29% of student debt after graduation. After conducting a widespread survey among students at Mount Allison, we found that 46% of students have struggled to pay for books because of their financial status. Additionally, 63% kept the outdated textbooks in their rooms and 61% prefer hard copy versions over ebooks.
Are a few things that students and university administrators have to say about our project.
The partnership between Enactus and the Textbook Osmosis and Facilities Management, basically we're working together to try and reduce the amount of garbage that is created on campus.
My ordeal with textbooks is that they're crazy expensive and I usually end up buying from the bookstore. It's very, very difficult to sell them back. I only ever end up using them once. I could benefit by getting textbooks for a price that's a bit more fair, I think.
With a renting or buying options, you can buy various books without thinking twice. So I think textbook osmosis should be one of the top priorities for students to buying books.
We at Enactus Mount Allison present to you textbook osmosis. Textbook osmosis was created in 2016 with a multifaceted approach of fulfilling two needs. 1. The lack of access to educational resources, and 2. Eliminating textbook waste. Here is how TO runs. We collect used textbooks from students and then sort these books to find out which can be rented out or recycled. The textbooks that can be rented out are then entered into our inventory. The rest of the unwanted textbooks are then properly recycled by taking off the bind or donated to a service that does this for us. This year, we recycled 175 books through the Northumberland Waste Commission in Miramichi, New Brunswick, and Textbook for Change. We donated 551 books to Textbooks for Change, raising $891, which we then repurposed to improve our inventory system. Moreover, TO is working on having a membership plan for all students. With this plan, anyone who has donated or recycled their textbooks would get a discount on their next purchase, encouraging students to donate more textbooks. To expand our process of collecting and renting out textbooks, we hired two Mount Allison student interns to create a software application that tracks our inventory. This software application will also provide a user-friendly interface where students can buy or rent educational materials at affordable prices. These students are currently working with a developer from Bell, Canada, who provides coaching and programming mentorship. After the software application has been fully developed, TO will create 2 full-time jobs in warehouse management and order fulfillment, 2 full-time jobs in software application maintenance, and 1 part-time job in transportation. Because textbook osmosis is replicable on other university campuses, we are planning to increase our revenue through the software application by licensing to other Canadian institutions. Overall, our project impacted 15 students directly and 700 students indirectly. We created 2 student internship positions from the Enactus project accelerators from Northbridge and the TD Ignite grant.
On to our second project, Project Greenlight. To start, 214 tons of waste is generated each year at Mount Allison, primarily from on-campus residential buildings. But sadly, more than half of this waste goes to landfills. These waste sorting errors have cost the university $50,000 in tipping fees. We introduce to you Project Greenlight, a project which aims to educate students and community members in Sackville, New Brunswick on proper waste sorting practices. This year, we implemented comprehensive waste sorting signs above the bins in residence and academic buildings, impacting over 900 students on their waste sorting practices. We also regularly use our social media platforms to help inform the student body on waste-related announcements. As for our main focus, we created educational videos for incoming students on the basic waste sorting rules in Sackville and created a 20-page informational guidebook for residents' eco-reps. As for broader action, we are collaborating with the Mount Allison Student Union and Facilities Management to systemically improve the environmental leadership structures within residents. This will help smooth the transfer of information between the Mount Allison Student Union and eco-reps. As a result, we empowered over 25 students and faculty. Students who were confused by the waste sorting system decreased from 12% to 5.5%, while those who strongly understood the waste sorting system increased from 40% to 65%. Over this year, we diverted 42,888 pieces of refundables, which equate to roughly 20.5 tons of disposable beverage containers from ending up in landfills. Through refundables, the university gained $6,433 in subsidies, and in the fall, we will be discussing with facilities management on what structural improvements can be made within residences using these funds. Now we will move on to our final project, Endirect.
According to the United States Department of Agriculture, 3.8 million tons of orange peels go to waste each year. Unsurprisingly, there is no simple solution to disposing all these peels. Juice makers pay a tipping fee at the landfill, and its use as fertilizers can acidify soil, affecting soil productivity. In the past year, Canadians consumed 83,000 metric tons of orange juice. That's the same weight as 638 CN Towers, so we contribute to this global issue. Envirot at Mount Allison is diligently working on a green, sustainable solution to this economic and environmental waste problem.
Envirot is developing an environmentally friendly product that seeks to combine orange peel waste with rice glue. This new material can be used to manufacture a wide range of products, from durable particle boards to single-use consumer items. Typically, particle boards are made from trees and frequently contain the dangerous chemical formaldehyde, which over time is released into the air, causing adverse health effects such as headaches, throat irritation, and the daily need for asthmatic medication. To alleviate this problem, Envirot is developing an amazing alternative for particle and press boards using our orange peel technology.
The maximum lifespan for each particle board is yet to be tested. However, we have found it to have the same durability as a standard particle board. Additionally, it is very easy to safely compost this product due to its biodegradable properties. For 4 years, Envirot went through 50 different trials and finally settled as orange peels as our best pick for its high fiber content in holding the particle board's structural integrity.
While our process has been developed in New Brunswick, the intention is to implement production in an area close to a company that uses citrus fruits. For the start of the project, we contacted the dining hall of Mount Allison to donate orange peel waste from their kitchen. We have also reached out to the Department of Agriculture in New Brunswick to understand the amount of orange juice produced in New Brunswick. Other sources of citrus peel waste, including lemon, grapefruit, clementine, and lime, can also be used to make particle boards. Therefore, we have contacted Crops Imports Inc. and Dominion Citrus Limited to network across companies.
With our project idea, we estimate that initially 100 tons of orange peel waste can be diverted each day to produce 50,000 Envirot particle boards per month. This idea can lead to creating jobs in multiple sectors, including production, sales, and development. The initial production would allow for over 24,000 metric tons of orange peels to be diverted from landfills each year. Throughout our project, we have directly impacted 6 students and helped divert 5 kilograms worth of orange peels generated from the Mount Allison Dining Hall.
Overall, through our 3 projects, we impacted 46 people directly and over 1,600 people indirectly. Within this, we created 5 new part-time jobs and generated $891 in revenue.
Together, we reduced textbook debt for 2 students, we supported 4 non-profit organizations, and trained 11 students on financial education.
Together, we have decreased tipping fees by roughly $5,000 and gained $6,433 in subsidies from refundables. In addition, we diverted 726 textbooks and 42,888 pieces of refundables from landfills.
Together, we can work towards an equitable future.
Together, we
can.
42,888.
Helps if I unmute myself. Judges, it's now time for the question and answer period. Please submit your questions through the chat function at the bottom of your screen. Just click on chat, use the drop down to make sure you send your questions directly to me, moderator Nicole Almond. And while the questions start coming in, I'm going to have the students, just in the order you appear on the screen, to say your school name just to make sure your audio is working properly. Go ahead, guys.
Okay, Mount Allison.
Allison.
Mount Allison.
Mount Allison.
Mount Allison.
Good job, guys. Okay, I'm going to get started with the first question, and judges, if you want to send any else that you have through the chat function directly to me. Rick from Canadian Western Bank asks, I recall buying textbooks as a painful activity for my wallet. I'm pleased to hear you're focusing on a solution. What's the average discount on a used book? And what's the average life of a textbook before a new edition is required?
Good question. I'll take that question. Through our program, through our project, Textbook Osmosis, the average price of our books are $30. That's the average. And usually the lifespan of a book would be about 2 to 3 years. But usually, because of how we operate, we usually keep books from outdated years as well. We collect all forms of books. So we resell and repurpose books within 5 years, and then the books less than 13 years or more are then properly recycled at a waste facility here in New Brunswick.
Perfect. How many books were you able to rent from your recycled books?
I'm going to take that. So we are still working on our web application where people will be able to rent books on our website. So we've not started renting, but we are still implementing our web application.
Sounds good. Julie Marin from Blackbaud would like to know, can you give us a bit more detail about the business plan for EnvaRoot? Do you intend to make products of your own with the particle board, or is the plan to sell it as material to other businesses?
Yes, so I'll be taking that, and that's a fantastic question. Well, because EnvaRoot is still a developing company here, what we're trying to do is make the particle boards tested in our own community. That is basically substitute all our particle boards that you see around here with our recyclable particle boards, see how it works, and then partner with other local industries like restaurants where you see like menu boards and everything. So sell it initially and then start producing our own with like partnering with an actual product particle board industry to go and sell the rest. Thank you.
Thank you. Nita from HSBC Bank Canada wants to know, for the book recycling initiative, you mentioned 700 indirect impact. Can you elaborate or explain that?
Yes, I could take that. So as part of our project, we are trying to reduce inequalities, as well as we are partnering with a firm, a company, an organization called Textile Change, where they send affordable educational materials to third world countries. An example is Kenya. So a portion of those books that we recycled was sent to Kenya, a post undergraduate university in Kenya, which were probably given to them for free or at a discounted price. So those numbers were generated from our partners, Textile Change, and as well as the numbers we've been able to impact through our project in reducing inequalities, especially through our partner, Northbridge Financial. because we did receive a fund, an accelerator to help reduce inequality, especially those affected by COVID this year. Thank you.
Judges, do we have any more questions? You can submit them. Oh, here we go. Natalie from Loblaw. How do people know where to dispose their orange peels when it's something they typically add to their regular compost?
Yes, that's again a great question. It's because right now we're mainly focusing on large production units where, like Mount Allison Mill Hall, right? If you think about it, they're having like a fruit Friday, like Fridays on fruits, fruits on Fridays. And what we're requesting right now is making sure that when you're peeling oranges, to separate them separately. And for local industries, we're trying to do the same thing, like only when they're trying to do that, to peel them separately. But we're right now not focusing on each individual house producing orange peels and trying to collect them, because we have not expanded ourselves to that capacity yet. But in the future, what we're trying to do is not just to help them compost, but also help them compost specifically with orange peels and other peels separately, so we can collect them and use them for our particle boards. And ideally, there would be an initiative, so they would do it and not just put it in the compost. Thank you.
Thank you. Kim from Alterna notes, I was surprised to see that the majority of students still prefer hard copies of textbooks over digital. Do you see that changing in the short term? And if so, how do you see it affecting your business model?
Yeah, I can take that. So we actually had the research done last year. I mean, so that was when the pandemic started. So we had our research done there, and we were very surprised when we saw the result that people really wanted physical textbooks, like physical books compared to ebooks. And also we also have a plan for the future, like when people start switching to ebooks. So we are planning on having an ebook option on our web application where people can also place order for ebooks. Thank you.
I'm just going to add to that real quick. As especially as a student, as we all are students, we spend a significant amount of time staring at screens, especially during this pandemic. We've been attending our classes all on Zoom or on Teams. And I myself as well, I found that having to have a physical book in my hand compared to just the regular staring at the screen every time has really helped me. And I found myself wanting to even get glasses just to prevent the blue rays from the screen from affecting my eyes. And so I feel like this is the same thing applies to most students around. And so through that, the survey we had, we were surprised, as Enoch has mentioned, that students were more inclined to physical books. I feel like the pandemic even pushed out more. So the market for physical books, hard copy books, will still be, I'm guessing, more in need before we start to transition. And as Enoch has mentioned, we do have a plan for that as well. But then we are going to be keeping as time progresses, we will switch as needed.
Great. Aaron from TELUS would like to know, how do you distinguish between direct and indirect impact for your projects?
So direct impact could be people that we directly work with, in terms of we meet with them, we talk to them, we have meetings with them. So they could be part of our team, that could be part of it. For example, if with textbook Osmosis, if we were able to sell a textbook to someone and they were able to gain benefits from it, that would be a direct impact. But an indirect one might be someone learns about the project and takes away some information, but they don't actually get a textbook from textbook Osmosis.
In addition, it could be also the learning aspect, because what all our three projects are trying to do is to also help the environment. They're all environmentally based. And so the knowledge about having to recycle properly to reduce global emissions, starting from just one person at a time, is also an indirect impact. Because with that knowledge, students, faculties, community members know the right option and what to do and where to proceed from there. And them having to feel that you're making a social impact from just one step. Thank you.
Perfect. Well, Mount Allison, your question and answer time has expired. Judges, please join me in congratulating the team from Mount Allison University. Thank you guys so much. And judges, we now have a couple minutes as we bring in the next team. So please use this time to complete your green sheet and we'll get started in just a couple of minutes. Okay, judges, please join me in welcoming our Enactus team from Durham College. Please open their report from the link in your email, which James is also just sharing in the chat right now, if that's easier, and scroll to their green sheet in your judge handbook. You'll now have 3 minutes to review their report. Judges, please turn your attention to the screen as we begin Durham College's video.
Overwhelming, relentless, unprecedented. These are words that many use to describe 2020 and continue to use into 2021. Together, communities across the world have faced immeasurable hardships, challenges, and uncertainty. Durham region is no different. Every day we see people struggle to hold on to a sense of themselves and their lives. But we don't want to look back. We want to look forward. This year, our team reinforced its commitment to social enterprise and demonstrated the drive to make sustainable change. My name is Megan Secord.
And I'm Cullen Smith.
And we are Enactus Durham College. And this year was a year of resilience, change, and opportunity.
People still need help. Positive impact can't stop, even if the world shuts down, and the number of obstacles increases. We shifted our understanding of what would work as a project and doubled our efforts with those that could be run safely and effectively. With this new mindset, our first project, Hive, shifted from in-person to online with great success.
What if every time you left your house for work, your commute got longer and more complicated? How would you feed your family if grocery stores continued to close one after another? When would the barriers for survival become simply too great? These aren't just human problems. They're bee problems. And what if they're the same thing?
Bees and other pollinators are critical to the health of our ecosystems and our global food production. The problem? Drastic population decline from a combination of habitat loss, disease, climate change, and exposure to pesticides. Bee species, like the rusty patch bumblebee that we all remember seeing as children, has had a population decline of 87% and hasn't been seen in Ontario since 2009. This is just one small example of a much larger trend of pollinator population decline. Currently, 850 million people suffer from a lack of food globally. That staggeringly high number will only surge when the world population hits 9 billion by 2050. Losing one of the world's key forms of pollination is simply not an option. So how do we help? Hive is an environmentally mindful apparel brand. Our intention is to generate awareness and educate and empower people to support habitat restoration in their own backyard and across their communities. Why? Because we care. Each of these strategic pillars has unique engagement opportunities that together create a lasting positive impact for both humans and bees.
Here's how we do it. 1. Our line of fashionable streetwear acts as a conversation starter. This allows people to become bee advocates, spreading awareness and igniting curiosity.
This year, Hive doubled our sales through our e-commerce platform, serving over 250 customers across Canada. But that's not all. This year, one goal was to reduce our project's environmental footprint. We localized production, and we switched our printing methods, reducing overall waste while supporting local business.
2. The conversation goes social.
Our social platforms serve as an educational hub around all things bees, from their importance in the ecosystem and the economy to the increasing threats they face, and what that means for future generations.
3. Change is more than talk. Hive introduces customers to actionable habitat restoration strategies. Every Hive product comes with a seed paper tag. This eco paper is made from post-consumer materials and contains a native wildflower seed blend.
Each tag empowers our customers to grow their own impact. Each tag can grow as many as 50 wildflowers, which become part of a collective effort. The impact is both perceivable and tangible, and so simple. Why a tag? Replacing the standard clothing tag with a seed paper alternative not only supports habitat restoration, but reduces unnecessary product waste that has long-term environmental implications. Bees are the most important player in our global ecosystem, so 3Hive is going international this year. Supported by the Jean Sauvé Global Project Accelerator, we have started an amazing collaboration with the National University of Galway in Ireland to amplify our bee-based initiatives around the world. Here at home, we are now a key partner with the city of Oshawa to support its National Bee City initiative that aims to encourage the growth of pollinators and urban beekeeping. We're supporting their marketing efforts, impact metrics, and developing educational materials for a population of over 400,000 people, igniting curiosity, empowering customers, and collectively restoring bee habitats. This year, 3Hive has doubled sales revenue with our e-commerce platform and collectively added more than 12,000 wildflowers to the community, educated over 30,000 people with our social hubs, and developed 2 ongoing partnerships, locally and internationally. 3Hive is an environmentally mindful solution because bee problems are human problems. Why? Because we care.
Just like the bees, we aim to support our loved ones to live well.
Project True Grit strive to support the creation of happy, healthy, and hire-ready communities. We ran an experiential workshop series focused on helping youth to develop essential life skills and foster personal wellness. As 2020 transferred into a virtual environment, the in-person concepts that were core to our workshops were no longer appropriate, even though the need for mental health and wellness increased significantly. The virtual environment overwhelmed us with notifications, Zoom meetings, and constant calendar reminders. In this chaos, we launched a minimal noise digital wellness program, transferring key wellness concepts from our in-person workshops to the safety of people's homes. The 21-day wellness challenge focuses on simple and actionable daily challenges that promote positive habit building. Over the course of 21 days, participants receive a daily wellness challenge straight to their inbox. Each email includes a simple 5 to 10 minute challenge and reflective insights, helping others to start turning personal wellness into personal habit. Wellness doesn't have to be complicated. Each email is simple in nature, but opens up the opportunity to actively recognize, discuss, and build towards personal wellness in a fun and entertaining way. Launched March 2021, the challenge is actively supporting participants to start living well.
As we work towards bettering our communities, we continue to develop forward-focused projects to promote long-term positive impact for 2021 and beyond. What if you could recycle and get rewarded for it, all from the convenience of an app?
Introducing Rcycle, an eco-conscious app that educates users about recyclable products they buy or use, while rewarding them for proper disposal. Students will build points, or R-coins, for recycling on campus and at home. They can then use those coins to get discounts at the cafeteria and bookstore, or at local sustainable businesses. Currently, the first stages of programming for Rcycle are underway in Oshawa at the AI Hub at Durham College. Enactus DC will be piloting the first site in partnership with an early-stage technology company on the Durham College campus. Our team is excited to introduce Rcycle as a feature product next year with a high-profile PR campaign, making it a focus for the 2022 academic year. Rcycle aims to change the way we recycle and make sustainable business a focus for the present and the future.
One of Enactus' main goals is students coming together to bridge gaps in their communities while building leadership and teamwork skills.
The students at Bill Crowther Secondary School in Markham noticed they didn't have a platform, something like LinkedIn, to showcase their community involvement to potential employers. In true entrepreneurial fashion, they designed a social platform called Enactus. This was the start of Project Enactus for Community. All students in Ontario must complete 40 hours of community service to graduate. With 880 high schools in Ontario, that's potentially 25 million volunteer hours. Yet, many students struggle to find a volunteer opportunity that's meaningful to them. including the students at Bill Crothers. What if there was a way students could start their own community projects based on the needs they see locally? Project CU allows high school students to get involved in an impactful way.
Think of it like a high school level Enactus.
Students are encouraged to think outside the box and come up with solutions for a better tomorrow. Currently, the pilot version of the project has directly impacted 314 students with a 92% student approval rating. Looking to the future, Enactus for Community is aiming to increase reach into 20-plus schools September 2021. The impact of this project starts with Bill Crothers Secondary and moves into a full-scale rollout at high schools across Canada, creating meaningful impact for students, by students.
Socially and environmentally conscious, supportive, and aimed at sustainable impact. 2020 may have been a year of unprecedented change globally, but as 2021 continues to present uncertain times,
the Enactus Durham College team is certain the change we make will create a better world for us all.
Judges, it's now time for the question and answer period. You can submit your questions through the chat function at the bottom of the screen. Just click on chat, send them directly to me, moderator Nicole Almond. While those questions start coming in, Heather, I'm going to ask you to say your school name just to make sure your audio is working.
Durham College.
Perfect. Just going to wait. There's only one of you, so I have to wait a little bit for the judge questions to come in. Okay, we're going to get started with the first question. Jeff from Compass has asked, who makes your bee clothing?
Currently, 3Hive is partnered with a local business in Oshawa to create all of their apparel, as well as start working on some of their designs. That partnership is handled by the business owner, Tyler.
Perfect. Julie from Blackbod asked, can you explain how users can earn the R coins using the RCycle app?
The RCycle app is tailored to community guidelines for recycling. When a user uses the app, they scan the product they are going to recycle, and from there, they are on their account and profile, they are given R coins every time they recycle, and that comes to the programming that is being handled by the handled and developed by the AI hub at Durham College.
Great. Sarah Owen from Facebook would like to know more about your strategy to sell the apparel from 3Hive.
Originally, 3Hive was an in-person endeavor. They mainly focused on using markets and booths at various community events. Since then, they have moved to a complete online platform, which they've had great success doing so. But since then, they have doubled down on creating collaborative partnerships with various companies through awareness campaigns, such as the Bee City Initiative with Oshawa, but also taking up opportunities to expand their reach anywhere they can, including using the Jean Sauvé accelerator to connect with a team in Ireland.
Amazing. And sticking with the 3Hive initiative, Nita from HSBC Bank Canada wants to know, what were your sales last year and how do you see them growing in the coming 3 years?
3Hive originally started sales in 2019, and since then we have doubled them. So last year we had $4,000 in sales, and this year we had $8,000 in sales. And considering we moved the entire business to an online platform, we are still very proud of those sales, and they continue to grow as we continue to create collaborative partnerships within our communities.
Thank you. Sarah from Facebook wants to know, how do you measure the impact that True Grit has had?
So originally, when True Grit was doing in-person workshops, we used a lot of peer feedback from our participants. Like many projects, we used pre and post surveys. And also we within our surveys added the applicable nature section to allow our participants to explain how they feel they would be able to use the skills they developed within our workshops. Now that we moved online, It's really just a matter of how often people are participating within the challenges and the feedback we still receive from them through surveys.
Thank you. Colleen from Hazelview, what are the Three Hive clothing items made of? How are they more sustainable than regular clothing items?
So currently, Three Hive uses a blend t-shirt, but the main sustainable impact for them is we switched our printing methods from screen printing to a cold press, which greatly reduced the water consumption for creating our t-shirts. Three Hive aims to move into a more sustainable cotton or bamboo blend for their t-shirts. Of course, with a startup company, it's always difficult to make yourself extremely sustainable in the beginning, but there is a plan in place and they are striving towards making as much changes as they can to reduce their imprint.
Thank you. Amy Harder has asked, with Three Hive, have you contemplated the opportunity to sell Canadian apparel designers and manufacturers to all adopt seed paper tag?
Yes, of course, we would love for all apparel to become seed paper friendly and reduce their impact on the global waste. We do often allow partners who we partner with through media campaigns or through bundles or giveaways to use our tags with their promotions. So even though we may not be directly giving out apparel or selling apparel, we always want to advocate for people using seed paper tags. So when we do partnerships, we always try to support the increased reach of implementing sustainable tags, whether it be through seed paper or other.
Great. Natalie from Loblaw wants to know how many students participated in your 21-day challenge, and did you get any feedback on the impact it's had?
So the 21-day challenge has had 2 runs over 2019 and 2020. Many of our workshop participants transferred over in 2019 to the 21-day challenge. Since 21 Day didn't launch until late March of 2021, we've had around 30 participants, and the metrics on your annual report are a combination of direct and indirect measures.
Yvonne wants to know, how will you prepare for pivoting back to a non-digital world post-pandemic?
Currently, our team is creating plans to keep some of our digital assets as well as move back into person. Many of our projects, like True Grit, who once or were originally in person, still have plans and all the content from the in-person. So we plan on trying to support both methods. We found that in many cases, there's great opportunity on the digital platform, and some are even more confident using the digital assets we give them. But with True Grit, we definitely have plans to scale across our campus to help those coming back into the in-person to feel more comfortable. It's a great opportunity, and we hope to take it up.
Great. Donna from Samsung wants to know, have you considered the packaging products and materials for your Three Hive products? Are those sustainable, chemical free?
Currently, Three Hive is currently, if you buy a product from Three Hive, there is minimal packaging to it. Most of them are tied with twine or simply in a recycled post-consumer waste box.
And Netta from HSBC Bank Canada, R-Cycle, you mentioned that they scan the item, but a lot of recyclable items don't have scan codes. How do you bridge that gap?
So that's where our partnership with the AI Hub comes into our project. They're working on programs that will predict the type of recycling, what type of materials you are recycling, and give you the proper guidelines to do so.
Great. And Tanya from Chartwells wants to know, how do you promote the True Grit resource to students?
So True Grit is promoted mainly through our network with the college. Enactus DC has great support through the administration and the alumni in our college. I myself was a social service worker student, and I have connections through professors, and we often make sure that our college as a whole is educated on the type of resources and projects we run. And through that network, we are able to make sure that students are up to
Your
date.
time has expired. Judges, please join me in congratulating Durham College. Judges, we have a couple of minutes as we bring in the next team, so please use this time to complete your green sheet and we'll get started momentarily. Heather, you may now leave the meeting. Okay, judges. On to the next team. Please join me in welcoming the Enactus team from St. Mary's University. Please open their report from the link in your email, which we also just shared in the chat, and scroll to their green sheet in your judge handbook. Judges, you will now have 3 minutes to review their report. Judges, please turn your attentions to the screen as we begin St. Mary's University's video.
The world produces enough food to feed every single person.
And North America's public school system allows for easy access to learning.
Yet, in Canada, 2.2 million tons of good, healthy food is thrown away every year, all while 4.4 million people are food insecure.
And in low-income communities, as high as 50% or more youth drop out of school before graduation.
We are trapped in a cycle of wasted food, hungry people, and poverty.
Many of us don't understand this cycle or our capacity to make a difference. I'm Adam.
And I'm Hannah. We're the co-presidents of Enactus St. Mary's.
And this year, our team of over 40 students have challenged communities here and abroad to consider their place in this cycle of food insecurity, food waste, and education. We're empowering individuals to break the cycle.
In 2016, our team founded Square Roots, a community interest corporation to address the issues of food waste and food insecurity. Under the Square Roots brand sits 3 unique yet synergistic pillars: products, token, and bundle.
Our newest pillar, Square Roots Products, works with corporations to utilize food said to be wasted in their products. Each product created in partnership with Square Roots is accompanied by a key message. Reducing waste is a lifestyle that's easy to implement. Whether carrot cake, beer, or even beer for dogs, we guarantee that the benefits of food waste reduction are not limited to the producers of these yummy treats, but shared with our amazing customers or their pet parents.
This year, we decided to create a new product that, along with diverting waste, prevents its creation. We empowered a team member, Courtney, and her budding entrepreneur mother, Lisa, to create Little Branches, a sustainable cosmetics business in partnership with Square Roots Products. Together, we created all-natural matcha lotion bars, made with oils infused with wasted avocado pits. This bar keeps food out of the landfill and prevents plastic waste through its minimal, sustainable packaging. At a sale price of $5, it yields a profit margin of 54%. After a successful pilot of our first 100 plastic-free bars, we're set to sell our products through e-commerce at the end of this June. To capitalize on the launch, 4 influencers inspired by our mission have volunteered to help us promote the bars this summer and to reach our goal of 1,000 bars sold this year.
Our second pillar, Square Roots Token, offers restaurants an innovative opportunity to reduce their waste, earn revenue, and feed those in need. Customers can redeem $5 tokens at partner restaurants in exchange for a meal. Each token reduces food waste while making life a bit easier for those on a budget. The COVID-19 pandemic challenged us to reduce the number of physical exchanges. So, we've built an app that will allow restaurant owners to advertise their excess food, accept and track orders, and expand their reach. Our partners are excited to pilot this app, scheduled to launch on September 30th.
The pillar that started it all, Square Roots Bundle, reduces food waste happening on farms by redirecting perfectly misshapen food into the hands of those who need it the most. Each month, local farmers deliver bulk seconds produce to the city to be distributed in 10-pound bundles across 6 locations in Nova Scotia. Our franchise model gives community members the opportunity to start their own Square Roots business and to become entrepreneurs. Originally, our social pricing model offered bundles for $10 if you could afford it and $5 if you couldn't. No questions asked. The only difference? Your potato might come with a little extra love. By 2020, our 3 pillars had diverted 211,000 pounds of food waste from landfills.
For years, Square Roots has prioritized food waste across operations, but like any good social enterprise, we had to adapt to the unprecedented economic realities of our target market. When the pandemic hit, people were left without jobs, and families that were already struggling were left in an even worse position than before. Yes, we were succeeding in our mission to reduce food waste, but in these challenging times, customer needs became the focus of Square Roots as we watched local stores and restaurants struggle and close their doors, while some families lost everything.
When COVID came around, I often tell people there were kind of 4 parts of my life that I wanted to have pulled together. Looking after my home, looking after my kids, my job, and the community. And you're getting emotional, I am too. So when COVID came around, I really felt like all 4 of those were falling apart.
You don't realize when you struggle for food what it means, right?
We adapted to market needs. We saw opportunities and capitalized on them. we decided we would not be another group of people to stand back and watch community members struggle. We decided to break the cycle of hunger.
Enactus St. Mary's created an additional unit to our programming, the Square Roots Free Bundle Program. You heard that right, free. No one turned away. To ensure the sustainability of the business, we increased the price of our bundles to $7.50, bringing our profit to $2.80 per bundle.
This price point still allows cost savings for each of about $7 per bundle when compared to the price of the same produce at the grocery stores. Our franchisees earn commission as stakeholders while coming together to support those who rely on the bundle Square Roots provides.
A $2.50 increase may be significant, but recognizing the extreme levels of hunger increased by COVID-19, we engaged over 40 partnerships with organizations sharing our values in order to further our reach. Our partnership with St. Mary's University saw the launch of a campaign targeting SMU alumni and community supporters.
They were joined through an overwhelming flood of support from various MLAs and MPs that saw Square Roots raise an additional $3,700. But our partnerships didn't stop there. Western Foods gave us 6,000 loaves of bread to include in our bundles. CN gave us a $5,000 donation, and TELUS gave us an incredible $20,000 in order to give away more bundles for free to those in need. This led to a total of $41,000 in donations from various contributors, furthering the reach of the Square Roots Free Bundle Program. And for our service, Square Roots was recognized in the House of Commons.
Forced isolation and a lack of human contact have had devastating effects this year. Volunteering for Square Roots offered community members a safe way to socialize, as well as an opportunity to help others.
To go lately, and even to get out for an hour and walk around and meet people and chat to people is a big deal.
Through Square Roots, we've given away 120,000 pounds of free produce, achieved a 100% increase in annual output, and most importantly, we've ensured this food reaches those who so desperately need it. Here's the impact we've had on the 34,800 people that Square Roots has served this year.
We cook together, me and my kids. It's brought us together a little bit closer, I find. And we have fresh food and vegetables and fruit every day now because of this.
When you're suddenly on income assistance, at least that's kind of how it felt. There was a long process, but it is really hard to feed your family in a healthy way.
I guess it's really good to know that my mom can feed me and my other brother and leave me healthy with you guys' help.
First experience with Square Roots was when a few years ago, I think 3 years ago, when I was a single mom. Basically at the time, stay-at-home mom, scrapping together a few side jobs and that kind of thing to stay afloat until I found something better. So when Square Roots came along offering a low-cost fresh food program, it really fit my budget.
Along with community partnerships, our team has a rich history of engaging organizations across Canada and more recently around the world. We currently have 3 locations in Ontario, and this year we hosted a free produce giveaway with our friends at Enactus Limerick in Ireland. Realizing that everyone could benefit from our ugly veggies, we created a collaboration with Enactus MSU, taking Square Roots to Gweru, Zimbabwe.
This latest location has led to 2 survivors of child marriage finding a new path through Square Roots as they become entrepreneurs. Their test launch was completed in February, and they have since hosted 5 produce sales events. Sharing the Square Roots mission, they recently trained 13 women on food waste and how to run their own Square Roots locations.
Takatanga project yedu kataitanga kwewa kusina ayizira but nafamba kwenguwe yakazongela kuyizira yezvino tava kukwanisa kutengesa zvinhu zvakawanda uye tichiwana profit yakawanda tikakwanisa kuzvichengeta nokuchengeta mwana.
This incredible success goes to show how easily scalable and global the Square Roots movement is.
Square Roots is fighting food insecurity, and often the most food insecure people are those who are part of vulnerable populations, which is why this year, in addition to Square Roots, we also grew our Options Youth program. Over 13% of youth are unemployed in Nova Scotia. We found that oftentimes this is due to lack of education. This leads to a cycle where people are trapped in a system of poverty, Since 2008, our employment education program, Options Youth, has provided struggling youth with valuable employment skills and mentorship, leading to full-time jobs. Previous cohorts learned in person for 6 weeks to prepare for 20-week employment experiences. However, we realized that our program could offer so much more. Hosted on campus, this transformative program was only an option for those able to attend in person, limiting our ability to scale the program to support more youth. Considering the COVID-19 pandemic, our plans could not have come at a better time.
In April 2020, in partnership with the St. Mary's Entrepreneurship Center, our team received over $700,000 from Service Canada to make Options Youth virtual, with an additional $3,000 from RBC and $2,500 from HSBC. We launched Options Online, an employment education learning platform. We created and filmed over 500 individual lessons, along with other resources that allow youth to break the cycle of unemployment due to the lack of education.
Our test cohort of 10 youth helped us pilot the online platform, allowing us to implement their feedback as we built the website. These youth were a success, and during the economic crisis of COVID-19, 7 of these individuals still found employment, while the other 3 decided on furthering their education. And this May, we'll be working with an additional 20 youth.
The past 12 months have been tough, but our team's resilience and our community's commitment to caring for each other have been tremendous. This challenged our team to reevaluate our own programs as we gain new perspectives. Feeding and educating people are of utmost importance for our team during a year without a playbook. Our global community has come together to break the cycle. This year, we've diverted 181,000 pounds of produce,
reducing 344,000 pounds of CO2 emissions, preventing 10.7 million liters of water from being wasted,
feeding 52,000 people,
generating $535,000 in revenue,
and creating $1.1 million of economic impact. We are Enactus St. Mary's, and we are breaking the cycle.
Judges, it's now time for the Q&A as we bring our students onto the screen. I'll ask we do same drill. You can send me your questions directly, and guys, I'll just have you each go through and say the name of your school to make sure we've got audio before we get started.
St. Mary's University.
St. Mary's University.
St. Mary's University.
St. Mary's University.
Perfect. Okay, let's get started with the first question. Donna from Samsung wants to know, how do you market square roots to the general population in order to increase sales?
We're constantly using our social media channels because we have a great following on those. We also have a perfectly functioning website that people can place orders on, and we're always working with our partners to get the word out about our project.
And just a little add-on there, one of our community managers, Yvonne, just like we empower all of our other community managers, she actually likes to reach out to a lot of organizations in her community. So she's working with the YMCA, she's working with the Salvation Army, and she's always reaching out to new homeless shelters to feed them.
Julie from Blackbaud would like to know, can you tell us a little bit more about the other types of products your team is making from food waste besides the soap?
Awesome. So we've made a lot of really cool variety of products, such as the beer for dogs you saw, which is not actually alcoholic. A lot of people have that question, but it's actually a bone broth made with our tasty turnip juice. And actually something really cool about that is that we were talking to Cindy last month, the creator of that product, and she talked about that using our products in her beer for dogs actually inspired her to look for other ways to reduce waste, such as paper packaging and things like that.
In addition to that, Square Roots Products will be partnering with Enactus Aryabhatta from India because they collect flower waste used in ceremonies in India and turn them into tie-dyes and clothing. So we're really looking forward to that partnership.
Great. Yvonne wants to know, when you have such a significant upfront investment model, for example, with your government grants and donations, how do you see shifting that into something that's self-sustaining and scalable?
Yes, so actually, a lot of the money that came from Service Canada has been used in the wage subsidies. So what we're planning to do with Options Online, and this is something we've been planning even before the pandemic, is to basically turn it into a sustainable social enterprise by allowing organizations such as YMCAs or programs similar to ours that teach financial literacy to actually lease the website at a social price so that they can educate their own youth, upload their own videos, and run their own curriculums. And our backend is built to do that. It's built to track youth's progress and help them make sure that they're following the program as much as they can.
Great. Rick from Canadian Western Bank wants to know, Square Roots has numerous projects, as we saw. How do you manage the sustainability of all of them?
Absolutely. So, of course, especially when we were giving away free bundles this year, we had that concern as well. But from the money that we had generated last year, we realized that we could run our free bundle program for an entire year without having to make a single penny of revenue. Not only that, we're constantly working with partners to get donations, like TELUS, who gave us $20,000. But we actually increased the prices by 50% to $750 to ensure the sustainability of our program, but also to make sure that we're below market price so everyone can afford our products.
And just to add on to that, even if we stopped all operations today, didn't make a cent of revenue, we could still continue our free vegetable program for the next 18 months, so about a year and a half.
Oh, and I'd love to also add on, even with these increased prices, our sales have still increased by 10% just this year.
Sarah from Facebook and Julie from Blackbot are both kind of wondering about pickup on Square Roots token program. So what is the token app usage? How many users, how many meals, and how many restaurants?
Right. So last March, when the pandemic reached Nova Scotia, we had a lot of partner restaurants, but a lot of these restaurants ended up going out of business or unfortunately not being able to accept the tokens because of health procedures. So that's when we decided to shift. We've spent the year and fully developed the app. It's ready to go. And we've already started working with our partners, and we're set to launch everyone on the app in September. And we're very excited to see how sales go.
Natalie from Loblaw wants to know, is your revenue generated number the total including the products sold to date, or is that just Square Roots bundles?
That is for all 8 of our projects.
And Nita from HSBC Bank Canada, Square Roots bundle. How do you minimize the waste? How do you make sure the food doesn't go bad before you distribute it?
Yes, of course. So all of our managers are trained in food safety. And we've also made sure that we advertise the food as not ready to eat. So just like every other vegetable you would buy, you have to cut it and clean it before you consume it.
And I would love to add that all 4 of us have taken the food safety course, and it provides a wide variety of training.
Yes.
One more thing, we have Square Roots creates an ecosystem with all the things it creates. So for example, our partners in the token program, when we have extra vegetables at the end of the day that haven't been sold, we take them to these restaurants and we are able to provide for them so that they actually get vegetables for free and continue to serve their clients too.
Great. Natasha wants to know, with the Square Roots token program, how do you encourage participation with restaurants on the app?
So right now, the app has not been fully piloted yet, but we're in consistent communication. So one thing we found is that a lot of restaurants, towards the end of the day, that's when the food is unsold. So we're planning on having a feature that towards the later hours in the evening, it will send notifications to folks and say, hi, like here are 3 restaurants in your location that just posted meals that are going to be thrown at the end of the day. Go out and get a $5 meal.
That's great. Jeff from Compass wants to know, I think you said that matcha soap bars have a 54% profit. Is that after labor and packaging, or is that just the product?
That is after labor and packaging.
Thank you. Judges, do we have any more questions for the team?
And just to add, well, there's some blank space here. A lot of people like to ask if we've considered partnering with supermarkets, which is something that we've looked into, but we love our decentralized approach of always getting involved with new community managers who can kind of benefit on the different unique things that are in their community. But we have partnered with supermarkets, and whenever you go to a Square Roots drop, there's some new things that were last day at the supermarket, such as I've seen creamer in bundles, I've seen salad kits in
and bundles. It's really so unique how each community is able to look and see what the opportunities are.
Great. I don't see any more questions coming in from the judges, so I'm going to oh, here we go. Aaron from TELUS, with 8 projects on the go, do you have an evaluation process to make sure all 8 are delivering? And if not, are some being turned down?
So Adam and I are the co-presidents, Adam on this call here. And we have a very unique approach where Adam and I are consistently meeting with project managers. So Maddie and Critica on the call here are project managers. Maddie's for Square Roots Bundle and Critica is for products. And we have a very unique training process where the new managers come in about a month ahead of time, learn everything. And then Adam and I meet with everybody weekly to make sure things are going well, being developed, new ideas are coming into play. We also have a lot of workshops hosted seasonally within Enactus St. Mary's.
Amazing. And with that, your time has actually now expired. So judges, please join me in congratulating the team from St. Mary's University. Students, you can now leave the call. Judges, we are going to have our scheduled 5-minute break if you need to grab something to drink. But please ensure it's 2:47 right now. So please ensure you're back at your screens no later than 2:52. We'll do 5 minutes from now so we can begin the last 2 presentations. Cola. Okay, judges. You want to turn your cameras back on? Just give me a little, like, make sure we know you're here before we start the next one. Hi, Natalie. Hi, Kim. Hi, guys. Great. Okay, I'm just checking from the rest of our teams. Kyle, you good? You're good? Amazing. Okay, guys. Stand by. Let me get my timer ready. Too many timers on the go. Okay, here we go. 2 teams to go. So, judges, please join me in welcoming the Enactus team from the University of Alberta. Please open their report from the link in your email, which also just got shared in the chat. Scroll to their green sheet in your judge handbook, and you'll now have 3 minutes to review their report. Judges, please turn your attention to your screen as we begin the team's video.
It all starts with a problem. The effects of climate change are long-lasting and detrimental. The global temperature is increasing, ice sheets are shrinking, and sea levels are rising. All of these factors affect every country, animal, and human on this planet, and it's our job to stop it.
Many regions across Canada are already facing the impacts of climate change. The warming temperatures are having effects on people that have heat-related illnesses in dense metropolitan areas. The prairies are the leading region for Canada's agriculture industry, and the industry requires consistent temperatures as well as relying on historical temperatures for their harvests. Climate change is starting to cause extreme weather changes and is affecting the patterns that farmers rely upon on a day-to-day basis. The increasing frequency of forest fires, landslides, snowstorms, hail, and floods are having devastating impacts on the critical infrastructure of British Columbia and Alberta.
From the recycling of plastic single-use food packaging to the impact that textile waste has on the environment, and lastly, the effects of discarded packaging created by the skincare industry. Hello everyone, my name is Erica and I am joined by my team Victoria, Mimo, and Rahul. Our team has taken on 3 different projects to tackle these issues. In this presentation, we will present our projects, Bio6, Reworks, and All Caps.
Bio6 is a project that is finding a solution to single-use plastic food packaging. The process includes upcycling spent grain, a waste product of beer brewing, to create an alternative to toxic plastic food cutlery, while also diverting grain waste from landfills. Some estimates put the number of plastic utensils wasted at 40 billion per year in just the United States alone, and in Canada is stated not to be too close behind. After one single use of those products, most of them are thrown out, which end up in our landfills and in our waterways.
Mimo discussed, this is a huge issue that people in developed countries are not taking into account. They don't understand how much these items affect our environment. They are one of those products that does not get recycled even if it's put into the recycling. It's too contaminated, too small, too lightweight. So those 40 billion plus utensils per year are a complete waste.
We are currently recognized as an NGO and currently have 13 university students committed to this cause, including project managers, project developers, social media coordinators, and sponsorship directors. We are currently partnered and have received materials and sponsorships from Alley Cat Brewing Company, Sea Change Brewing Company, Omen Brewing, HSBC, and Sobeys.
Bio6 is committed to diverting spent grain waste away from landfills caused by the brewing process. We are going to continue to partner with local breweries in Edmonton to take their spent grain waste and turn it into plates. We are currently in a close partnership with Omen Brewing, where we are able to receive their spent grain for free. We have been working on and have been developing a prototype and are in the process of finding ways to waterproof the plate. This project's main form of return would be by selling these spent grain plates to restaurant businesses. In the future, Project Bio6 would look towards creating more forms of different packaging to create more streams of revenue. Project Bio6 is also working towards creating a revenue model where we may begin charging breweries to take away their spent grain waste. Currently, our main form of revenue is from grants and accelerators.
Another issue that contributes significantly to global emissions is overlooking the waste created by the textile industry. We all know that it's better to carpool to reduce gas emissions, to drink from reusable straws to save the turtles, and to recycle whenever possible. But did you happen to know that the fashion industry is considered to be the second most polluting industry in the world? Let's have a look at some statistics. Every second, the equivalent of 1 garbage truck worth of textiles is burned or landfilled. It takes between 20 to 200 years for synthetic textiles to biodegrade in landfills. A shirt made from polyester could easily have a longer lifespan than yourself.
The fast fashion industry produces 20% of the world's wastewater, which holds chemicals and toxic waste that is extremely harmful as it enters oceans, rivers, and lakes. The fashion industry is responsible for 10% of global carbon emissions, which is more than international flights and maritime shipping combined. If the current pattern continues, the global consumption of apparel will rise from 62 million metric tons in 2019 to 102 million tons in 10 years.
Here's where Reworks comes in. Reworks is a student-led entrepreneurship project with the goal of improving the sustainability of the fabric industry with recycled, ethically produced fabrics. It aims to be able to produce fabrics made of 100% recycled textiles that will be custom-tailored product to a variety of businesses such as hotels, motels, cafes, and restaurants. We hope these businesses will utilize our product and proceed to recycle after it has been completely used. Another benefit of this project is that we are able to educate youth about sustainability and changes they can make in their everyday lives to support environmentalism. The goal of Reworks is to inspire and accelerate sustainable change by providing the means for businesses to go green. With over 25 billion pounds of global textile waste being produced annually, we see Reworks as an opportunity to begin making strides to a greener and more conscious textile industry.
Reworks aims to create recycled textiles that can be used to produce a variety of products that are widely used, and then sold back to businesses. We plan to partner with local non-profit organizations with excess clothing donations, which will be the source of our materials, and ensure the textile is past its stage of being reused.
Reworks has recently been the recipient of the Canadian World Youth Innovation Grant for Sustainable Livelihoods, and will direct this funding towards our research and development team. Reworks also launched a local mask drive for an Edmonton not-for-profit, which helps at-risk youth. We were able to raise $800 and donated over 4,000 masks. We are also in partnership with Ambrosia Medical Spa, who helps us raise funding, and iHuman Youth Society, where we donated the masks and educated youth about sustainability.
Lastly, All Caps is a project which attempts to tackle the environmental issues caused by the packaging waste in the skincare industry. Cosmetic companies are the third largest buyers of packaging materials in Canada, amounting to 15.8% of total packaging revenues according to IBIS World. Although this number may seem small, to put things more into perspective, a study conducted on packaging by Euromonitor found that Canadians purchased more than 550 million units of packaging material for skincare products alone. Plastic is one of the main polluting materials coming out of the packaging industry. There are billions of plastics produced and sold in Canada each year, and unfortunately, it is estimated that only 10% is successfully recycled, leaving 90% of them in the landfills. And this is keeping in mind that one plastic bottle takes 1,000 years to decompose.
At a growth rate of 9.5%. Skincare items in particular account for the largest sector of the beauty industry at 37.1%. Our strategy is to move towards zero-waste strategies specifically directed towards the beauty industry. Not only does it cost money, resources, and energy to manufacture and transport beauty products, but it also costs a great deal to transport the products when they are no longer in use. The more waste put into landfills, the more methane gas is released, which can lead to a toxic sludge and can contaminate our water supplies. By creating a completely biodegradable capsule to hold beauty products, we are implementing a zero-waste policy into one of the biggest industries in the current market. All Caps aims to address the polluting package waste created by the skincare industry by making it completely biodegradable. Each skincare product will be contained within a single serving biodegradable cellulose capsule in an effort to completely cut the large amount of waste and costs produced by the use of plastic and other packaging materials. Our goal is to give consumers the option of sustainability without compromising quality and convenience. Each hard capsule casing is made from cellulose, which is a plant substance that is easily biodegradable. The capsules are stored in glass-tinted jars with a concave lid that serves as a mixing surface. The sealed tinted jar also protects the product from light exposure and moisture. These jars are a one-time purchase as they are designed to be refillable. Refills will be delivered to customers in biodegradable cellophane and recycled cardboard boxes.
All Caps offers skin tints and foundation, moisturizer, sunscreen, face masks and scrubs, and lastly vitamin serums in single-serving capsules. We will be selling exclusively on our e-commerce platform for the modern consumer looking for convenience.
All Caps' target market is millennial men and women aged 23 to 40. Millennials are the highest buyers of skincare, and they latch on to clean and toxic-free ingredients. All Caps is dedicated to their cause and has a team that is committed to this issue. They have recently participated in the World's Challenge held by the University of Alberta and won first place and the $10,000 prize. This money will be used to create a prototype for the capsule, and they'll be continuing to compete in local competitions as well.
The global environmental issues occurring are devastating, and we are dedicated to help reduce these effects. By starting our projects and focusing in Edmonton, we are already making an impact. In 2017, there were 425,000 tons of carbon dioxide produced in Edmonton from civic operations. The measures include the methane and CO2 released from the landfills, as well as heating and cooling of city buildings and electricity used by city operations. The city calculates the greenhouse gas emissions from citizens as well as communities. In 2017, there were 18.9 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent, produced largely from adding the emissions from landfills, as well as those from fossil fuels and electricity used within the city of Edmonton. Edmonton has a target to reduce community GHGs by 2035 by 25%.
Enactus UAB is dedicated to this cause. Our team includes 45 active members which have been working over 5,000 hours to actively attempt to impact the lives of fellow Edmontonians. Over 340 lives are accounted to have been impacted by our efforts, and we continue to increase this number. We are committed to continue our efforts to help the environment, and we will use our outreach with current partners such as the Alberta School of Business, RBC Future Launch, and other external partnerships to continue impacting and improving the lives of all Canadians. Thank you.
Thank you, University of Alberta. It's now time for the question and answer period. Judges, you can submit your questions through the chat function at the bottom of the screen. Just send them directly to me, moderator Nicole Almond. And while those questions start coming in, I'm going to ask each of you to just say the name of your school so that we know that your audio is working again. Mimo?
University of Alberta.
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 Perfect. Okay, we'll get started with the first question. Julie from Blackbot asks, sounds like all three of your projects are still in early stages. When do you expect first sales to take place?
So the sale of our projects currently, for the products that we will produce from our projects is dependent on when we're able to create finalized prototypes. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we weren't able to receive lab space to do the research that is necessary. However, once we do get back into the labs, we will have a better idea of when we would be able to sell the products.
And Nita from HSBC wants to know, with all caps, have any companies expressed interest in this product?
Yeah, so we've definitely been looking into partnering with some local Edmonton businesses. We were also the first place winners of the WCC, winning a cash prize of $10,000. So we are so fortunate to have those funds and resources to really expand within our community.
Great. And Jeff from Compass wants to know, what's your unique selling proposition in all caps? It sounds like a pretty competitive market.
Yeah, so from our research, we found that only 35% of cosmetic companies are striving to become zero waste, which is very surprising given that 15% of all plastic in the landfills comes from the industry. So I think the thing that really sets us apart is these unique capsules, which are completely biodegradable, and we haven't seen a lot of companies that are doing the same thing.
Great. And Natasha wants to know, with regards to the singular usage capsules, is there any concern around how similar they look to pills and medication? Do you have a plan to make a distinction from a safety perspective?
Yeah, so obviously we are solidifying our research and design. As we move into the development phase, we will definitely take these important things into consideration, especially safety labels and everything like that.
Judges, if there are any more questions. Oh, Yvonne wants to know, do you anticipate the specific culture of the textile and beauty industry to make the introduction of change more challenging than, say, in a digital space?
So with the trending fashion industry right now, a lot of consumers, mostly millennials, are buying a lot of vintage clothing, a lot of clothing that is sustainable and is very recyclable. So we feel that right now it would be not so challenging to introduce the product that we're selling at Reworks. We believe that the culture is shifting towards a more environmentally friendly manner. We want to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. We want to reduce the wastewater that goes into manufacturing these textiles. So we believe that the industry is really trending towards this. And in regards to the virtual environment, it's just been a little bit challenging to get out there and get out some hands-on work to start creating our product at Reworks. However, we've been using this time to create a more social media presence and just increase our marketing. So go on Instagram and try to educate those that we know, those in our local communities. We actually got a chance to be featured on Alberta's 6:30 CHED radio with a global news host for Earth Day, where we were able to inspire Albertans about our solution at Reworks, talk about how to think more sustainably, mostly with regards to fashion, due to the immense amount of wastewater that goes into manufacturing these textiles. So we were able to discuss how we want to shift the mentality of textiles from manufacturing to recycling. So I feel like the way the industry and consumers are shifting towards is it will be very favorable for our cause.
Nita wants to, you mentioned your products are in pilot stage. Can you tell us a little bit more about the 345 lives that were already impacted?
For sure. So in regard to 345 lives impacted, alongside the projects that we have presented today, we also have other streams at Enactus University of Alberta through which we impact lives. So the first one is our events. So this year we hosted 2 events. The first one was Enactathon, where we pitched, it was essentially a case competition that lasted a week where we asked students to form teams and provide solutions to either food insecurity or plastic waste. And then our second event was the ultimate pitch, where we allowed student entrepreneurs to pitch their ideas to a panel of judges and different entrepreneurs, and they were able to win up to $5,000 in prizes. And alongside the teams that participated in those events, we also had 2 external partnerships with the Faculty of Engineering at the University of Alberta, and we supported those projects that also did impact in the community as well.
Great, thank you. Jeff from Compass wants to know, for Reworks, who's your competition?
So we have no direct competitors in our local communities. There is one company in British Columbia that are focusing on this recycling textile process. However, their niche market is to create grocery bags. So it's more of an indirect competitor. They do have a similar process, but we are focusing right now on vintage clothing and then slowly moving on to like restaurant and hotels where we can provide linens and pillowcases and textiles like that.
Kim from Alterna asks, in the cosmetics industry, packaging is a major part of competitive differentiation. So how do you plan on shifting this mindset or providing an alternative?
Yeah, I think as Rahul mentioned earlier, millennials are shifting towards being more conscious about their consumptions and obviously these trends to decrease the detrimental effects on the environment. So I think that as people realize that their purchases are essentially saving the environment, I think that's really the factor that will shift them away from these bigger companies and be more open to support local businesses that are doing things to really reduce environmental waste.
Colleen from Hazelview wants to know, can you explain your partnership with Future Creators?
Definitely. So Future Creators is one of our partnerships with the Faculty of Engineering. It was a project that was started outside of Enactus U of A. However, we did bring them on this year as a 50-50 partnership in which essentially we support them and help them with their endeavor to support the youth in the community in regards to their STEM initiatives. Future Creators holds workshops with students in junior high and high schools where they teach them about different areas of STEM, provide them support to come up with their own innovative ideas, and show them the possibilities of the STEM industry.
Kula from Robert Half wants to know, with BioSticks, what products do you feel are possible to be produced?
So right now we're aiming to make plates out of them and then cutlery in the future. So these are our goals with them. And that's what we see for our future with using spent grain waste right now. And these are the ones that we're doing some research in at the moment.
And what have you learned to date on this project?
With Project
On the
Bio
Bio
6,
6, yeah.
We've learned so far how to like use the spent grain waste and the impacts it has on the environment because of the methane it releases in the landfills. And so right now our challenge is making the plates and the cutlery waterproof. So
Your time has expired. Judges, please join me in congratulating the team from the University of Alberta. Judges, we have a couple of minutes as we bring in the next team, so please use this time to complete your green sheet and we'll get started in a couple of minutes. Students, you may now leave the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, judges, it is time for our final team. Please join me in welcoming the Enactus team from Wilfrid Laurier University. Open their report from the link in your email, which was shared in the chat, and scroll to their green sheet in your judge handbook. You will now have 3 minutes to review their report. Judges, please turn your attention to the screens as we play Laurier's video.
It may not seem like it, given the damage it has caused, but plastic hasn't been around forever. In the course of human history, the timeline on plastic is actually pretty short. We didn't even call the seemingly indispensable innovation plastic until 1925. It crept up on us until the 50s, when global plastic production took off, and the idea of single-use plastics was born. Fast forward over the last 70 years, we now create over 300 million tons of plastic waste every year, which is nearly equivalent to the weight of the world's population. And plastic production is expected to double in the next 20 years. The timeline is escalating at an alarming rate. Our love affair with plastic has led it to being pretty much part of every product we use. It is everywhere. The problem is, it's also everywhere it's not supposed to be.
We've been taught to believe that the answer lies in the 3 R's. In fact, the first Blue Box program in the world started in our own town of Kitchener, Ontario 30 years ago. But it isn't enough. Only 9% of our plastic is actually recycled, 12% is incinerated, and 79% remains in landfills or in our environment. The main culprit is plastic packaging, which represents 40% of global plastic production. It's used once and then discarded. And even if recycling worked, over 88% of global production is still virgin plastic because it's higher quality and cheaper than recycled materials.
To move forward and build a more sustainable world, we need to rewind the timeline on plastic. We need to create innovations that upcycle our existing plastic waste, and most importantly, create alternatives that prevent the production of plastics altogether. That is exactly what we're doing at Enactus Laurier through 2 of our enterprises, Last 20 and Suds.
The average plastic bag has a useful life of 12 minutes, but at the end of that life, it stays around for another 500 to 1,000 years, and we use 5 trillion plastic bags globally every year. These bags are made of a thin plastic film called low-density polyethylene, or LDPE. It gets tangled in the machinery, so is difficult to recycle, and is not even accepted in many recycling programs. Instead, it sits in our landfills where it emits more methane and ethylene than any other plastic.
At Last 20, we're upcycling this plastic waste into sustainable pavement. Traditional pavement is 90% aggregate held together with 10% bitumen, a low-grade crude oil. We're supplementing 30% of the bitumen with LDPE. In fact, for every kilometer of road, we'll be upcycling almost 2 million plastic bags. Plastic increases the overall durability and longevity of the pavement. Using plastic waste also makes asphalt more porous, so it absorbs sound vibrations, lowering noise pollution. And our solution is just as cost-effective as traditional pavement.
This year, we've raised $23,000 in funding for R&D. This has allowed us to complete multiple rounds of testing with CTA labs to determine the optimal mix of plastic to asphalt for maximum strength and stability.
Our first pilot will take place this summer at the Brantford site of Avita's. We'll be paving their loading dock area, which is roughly 2,100 square meters or about the size of a soccer field. This will be the first plastic pavement project in Ontario and the second in all of Canada. And we're also really proud to have created 5 green internships for youth in the process.
Although our early adopters are projected to be private contractors, the public market for Canadian road and highway construction is around $13 billion. And we've seen early interest. At the Ontario Road Builders Association conference, the municipalities of Thunder Bay and Niagara expressed a desire to partner with us.
We're also spreading our mission globally by leading conversations with businesses and experts on our podcast, Sustainable Sessions. With over 1,000 listeners in 27 different countries, we're creating a global eco-community to advocate for systemic change.
Last 20 is creating a sustainable home for LDPE, but this only helps us rewind the timeline by cleaning up our current plastic waste. With 360 million tons of new plastic produced annually worldwide, what we also need to do is stop the production of plastic altogether.
It is estimated that over 23.7 billion shampoo, conditioner, and body wash bottles are used in North America and Europe alone every year. These bottles are extremely difficult to sort, clean, and recycle properly because of leftover product. So they just end up in our landfills. This is the dirty side of soap. Imagine a world without plastic toiletry bottles. Without producing these bottles every year, we could instead provide clean drinking water to over 631 million people, power close to 2.7 million homes, and prevent CO2 emissions equivalent to taking over 716,000 cars off the road.
This is why we created Earth Suds, solid single-use tablets of shampoo, conditioner, and body wash. When you crush, add water, and lather, they work exactly like typical liquid products. They're packaged in recyclable paperboard or reusable shower cases, which eliminate the need for plastic altogether. It's shampoo without the bottle. Traditional products are over 85% water. Since our tablets are solid form, they don't waste water and the resulting product is 4 times lighter, allowing us to transport more in fewer trips, reducing our carbon footprint by 75%. In fact, the environmental impact of our innovation was recognized this past September, when we were named the best Enactus project in the world for solving our ocean's plastics crisis.
Until recently, we were producing by hand with an annual production capacity of 80,000 tablets. We sold out our entire capacity this year, generating over $66,000 in revenue and eliminating the need for over 10,000 plastic bottles. This includes our donation of just under $3,000 worth of product to youth shelters in our 1-for-1 holiday campaign. But our demand was increasing at a rate beyond our one-room production facility, creating a backlog of $52,000 in orders and a lost opportunity to debut our product in a national grocery chain on Earth Day.
It was clearly time to shift our focus to scaling production. After reaching out to more than 100 contract manufacturers, we signed with a facility in New York, increasing our capacity to over 4 million tablets a year, while maintaining a 32.5% gross margin. We've spent the last 12 months resourcing our ingredients to ensure the sustainability of our supply chain, reformulating our product, and conducting rigorous quality testing that has resulted in a superior product ready for national and international distribution. We also updated our logo and packaging and are currently in the process of completing our first production run of 150,000 tablets, eliminating the need for an additional 13,900 plastic bottles.
Since we started selling our tablets in October 2019, they have been stocked by 76 small to medium retailers, but our increased capacity has opened the door to expand our distribution channels. We now have commitments with 2 of the largest national grocery chains in Canada, Loblaws and Sobeys. We expect to pilot our tablets in a Loblaw store in Ontario this summer and expand provincially over the next year. With Sobeys, our revenue potential climbs even higher. On a provincial level, we expect to be in 100 Sobeys, Freshco, and Foodland stores that will generate an estimated revenue of $80,000 in the next 5 months. Based on our success at the provincial level and Sobeys' average uptake rate, we project to be carried in 376 additional stores across Canada, resulting in a combined revenue of over $980,000 within the next 12 months. And with camping season around the corner, we saw an opportunity to introduce our Suds to an entirely new market, and have begun conversations with Canadian Tire store owners.
With the world shifting online this year, we also focused on growing our e-commerce revenue. Over the last 12 months, the Earth Suds story reached over 2.6 million people globally through our various social platforms, helping us to expand from 2 to 16 countries, achieving a 335% increase in e-commerce sales overall. We also signed with an international distribution and logistics company, giving us the ability to scale not just online, but through retailers worldwide.
In response to consumer feedback, we developed a curly hair shampoo and conditioner this year. We are also exploring new product lines. After discovering that over 20 billion non-recyclable toothpaste tubes are produced globally every year, we created Smile Tabs, single-use, plastic-free toothpaste capsules. Our solution has a similar user experience to regular toothpaste, unlike any other zero-waste alternative on the market. Consumers will simply twist off the top of the capsule, squeeze the toothpaste onto their toothbrush, and then dispose of the water-soluble and biodegradable film, eliminating yet another source of everyday plastic.
It's one thing to rewind the timeline on plastic to create a more sustainable world, but who are we creating it for? At Enactus Laurier, we believe in empowering individuals with diverse abilities. In Canada, adults with developmental disabilities have an employment rate of less than 30%. making them one of the most excluded groups in our workforce. This year, we hired 8 individuals with developmental disabilities in 13 green work placements, but Trinity speaks to the experience best.
Suds is my very first job, and I am so proud now that I can accomplish anything if I put my mind to it. I did it!
At Enactus Laurier, we are using entrepreneurial action to create the kind of world we want to live in. We're rewinding the timeline on plastic, creating innovations that upcycle our existing plastic waste and alternatives that prevent the creation of plastic altogether.
At Last 20, our innovative technology is giving second life to existing waste plastics, helping create a future of sustainable infrastructure. We've created 5 green internships for youth, and our pilot this summer will upcycle 817 pounds of plastic, eliminating over 1 million plastic bags from entering landfills.
At Suds, we redefine clean by eliminating single-use plastics from our daily routine. This year, we focused on spreading our impact globally by scaling production and distribution. We increased our manufacturing capacity, secured nationwide distribution, increased our e-commerce sales internationally to 16 countries, and created a whole new product line of sustainable toothpaste. We also maintained our focus on inclusivity by employing 8 individuals with developmental disabilities. With this year's sales and our first production run of 150,000 tablets, we've eliminated the need for almost 25,000 plastic bottles, saving 84,000 liters of water and 819 liters of oil, and preventing 2,000 pounds of CO2 from entering our atmosphere. But this is only the start. Our vision is to enable everyone around the world to live a plastic-free life.
At Enactus Laurier, we are taking bold action to rewind the timeline on plastic. 1 road, 1 tablet, and 1 capsule at a time.
Of course, I was going to do that with the last one. Didn't mute myself. Judges, now time for the question and answer period. You can submit your questions through the chat function. And while the questions are coming in, guys, don't do what I did. Turn off your mute button before you talk. We're going to ask the students to just say the name of their school before we begin. Whatever order you would like, go for it.
Wilfrid Laurier University. My name's Chirag.
Wilfrid Laurier University.
Wilfrid Laurier University.
Wilfrid Laurier University.
Perfect. Nicely done. Okay, let's start with the first question. Nita from HSBC Bank wants to know plastic pavement. How well do you estimate it will do in all weather conditions?
That's a great question. And right now with our research and working with our engineering partner who actually has his plastic pavement PhD and worked on the only other pilot that was completed in Canada, which was a Sobeys parking lot in Nova Scotia. It's been holding up really well, but this type of technology has actually been used in India for over a decade now, and it's been holding up really well there, and their plastic problem is significantly worse than ours. So it's even become mandated to incorporate plastic. So that's something that we're going to be continuously monitoring and incorporating into our R&D as we continue examining the lifespan of our road and pavement. And we're doing so by partnering with the University of Waterloo to examine all of that.
And for Suds, what are your future marketing plans? How do you plan to compete with other big brands, and how does your pricing compare?
Yeah, definitely. What we really utilized over these last 2 years has been social media, and that's primarily been through our Facebook ads as well as Google ads. Those are really, really great tools as we're able to target specific demographics and specific age range to really get to our target audience. At the retail level, when we do compete with some of these larger brands, we plan to put POP displays into stores like Sobeys and Loblaws, which really highlight our product, give consumers a great understanding of what we're trying to accomplish and what really our value proposition is. In regards to pricing, we are quite competitive with other brands out there.
Aaron from TELUS wants to know, have you explored whether there could be a residential application for Last 20 that might not have the same durability requirements that roads and highways do?
We're starting right now with private contractors just because we believe this is the best way to approach our plastic pavement solution to demonstrate the use case and viability of plastic pavement solutions. However, we would love to explore the B2C market and potentially do driveways, maybe your driveway down the road, pun intended. But there's a lot of opportunity. It's really just showing the potential of the solution. And our main vision is to actually go into the provincial road and highway construction market, as it's a significantly larger market to capture.
Great. Natasha from Leo Barnett wants to know, with regards to plastic pavement, you mentioned there being another initiative outside of yours. How is yours different?
The initiative that was completed in Canada, the other pilot that I mentioned in Nova Scotia, they use the same type of plastic as ours. So there isn't really a huge difference, but that was one of the challenges that we did have to overcome, was finding a plastic supplier that was able to source large quantities of this waste plastic that would be suitable in the pilots. And that is now a proprietary source to us, and we were able to do that. And our plastic supplier is able to source upwards of 10 to 20 tons of waste plastic, low density polyethylene for our pilot.
Natalie from Loblaw wants to know, is the Suds packaging recyclable? And are there any concerns with the products dissolving as you're opening the packaging in the shower?
That's a great question. So for our packaging, all our packaging is completely recyclable. We have our paperboard, which contains our 30 packs, and we also have aluminum travel cases, which are also 100% recyclable. As for the dissolvability of our products, of our tablets, so our tablets are uniquely formulated, so they can be actually dropped in a glass of water and they won't dissolve. It's only when you crush and lather will they then dissolve. So no mist or anything from the shower will dissolve the tablets.
Yvonne wants to know, given the sheer scale of these initiatives, how do you help your team understand the end-to-end of the business model versus just their little piece of the pie?
Yeah, definitely. At Suds, we really do have a very, very committed team, where I think the biggest goal for us this year, especially in the midst of COVID, was constant communication. We have weekly calls as a whole team where we go over what's happening in each department weekly. We have departmental meetings every week. So the goal has always been just constant communication, keeping everybody in the loop. And that's how we've really been able to, accomplish all that we have over the course of the year.
Just to add on to that, for Last 20, as well as all the other enterprises that are in the pipeline with Enactus Laurier, it's a really good opportunity for students like ourselves to also connect with individuals within our prospective industries. So for Last 20, connecting with people in the construction sector, it's a really interesting way to learn about business development and explore careers in sustainability, which I'm very grateful for throughout this opportunity, being part of Enactus.
Kim from Alterna wants to know if you have any plans to expand to laundry detergent.
That's a great question, and we're always looking for innovation at Suds. We always conduct customer research, and that is definitely an area we will look to tackle. However, since we are in the phase of scaling, we're going to focus on getting Suds out there, and then we hope to really expand our product line. Our vision is ultimately to have a plastic-free bathroom routine, whether that be through face masks, face cleansers, laundry detergent. So that's a great point.
Okay, Mita from HSBC, what are the biggest challenges in, let's say, either of your two, plastic, the Last 20 or Suds? Between the two, what is the biggest challenge you're facing?
I can take the challenge for Suds. As we were partnering with a contract manufacturer, we didn't realize how lengthy of a process it really was. So we had to go through a lot of negotiations, a lot of quality testing. We also had to green up our entire supply chain by resourcing ingredients. All of this on top of shipping delays because of COVID made it a lot longer, but at the end of the day, it was a great learning experience for us. And we're really excited to find a partner that aligns really well with us and that we have a production run now. It's great.
And for Last 20, our role is really bringing together the strategic partners to execute on sustainable pavement projects. So a lot of our challenges, we're finding the right partners that would be able to do this. As I mentioned with our plastic supplier, finding a large quantity source of the suitable waste plastics, as well as our engineering partner who has his PhD in plastic pavement to do the proper quality testing, which is extremely rigorous, and we have to use the proper equipment to ensure we're mitigating risk as much as possible. And then as well with our asphalt supplier, we need a company that is able to have the proper equipment to put in the plastic into the pavement, and that's something that not a lot of bigger construction companies have. And because we're a startup, we're actually very nimble and can provide and can execute on these pilots.
Great. And John Quinn from Pembroke wants to know, my sense is your projects have a longer delivery schedule. How do you plan for succession?
For Last 20, because we are in the construction sector, I'm sure you're kind of aware of this. There's only 4 seasons in Canada: winter, spring, fall, and then construction in the summer. So really, we're only challenged with planning all of our pilots so that they can be executed during this time. But part of what we're doing during that period when we're not doing projects is finding more partners to create these pilots, and that's something that we already have.
Your time has expired. Judges, please join me in thanking the team from Wilfrid Laurier University, which is our final team of the day. Students, you can now leave the meeting.